Hello and welcome back to the AOR Championships on the Xbox using F1 2016. It's Season 13 and we're at the Hockenheim ring for the 10th round and German Grand Prix. My name is Justin and joining me for today's commentary, it's Fisi.
Yes, hello Justin, hello everyone. This week we're missing the other commentator in the ditch somewhere. So I'm here again to join Justin for this German Grand Prix around Hockenheim, which is one of my personal favorite tracks to drive actually on this game. So yeah, really looking forward to the race and to see what these Xbox drivers can do.
Yep, I am also a fan of this circuit. Last time out in Hungary, it was an incredible race that should not be missed. I wasn't available for the commentary, but Ali and Fizzy did an incredible job, and the race was definitely one you don't want to miss. So definitely check that out if you haven't seen it already. Unfortunately, after round 9, the gap at the head of the championship has enlarged even further, with the Flying Finn picking up his 5th win, giving him a 70-point lead in the standings. The other Mercedes of ESR Lee finished in 2nd place, but nearly 10 seconds behind his teammate, while Jason97 F1 completed the podium and overhauled his teammate TRL Limitless in the championship after a race to forget for JD. That's how things have shaped up in AOR so far, but let's turn our focus now toward the German Grand Prix, starting with the side-by-side lap comparison and full qualifying report.
Here we are today at Hockenheim for a qualifying comparison between TRL Martin and TRL Limitless. Both drivers coming up towards turn 1 now, flicking it into 6th gear and to the right, trying not to cut the corner on the inside there, which is very easy to do. Turn 2 comes up quick and it's braking at the 100 meter board down into 2nd gear, trying to short shift on the exit for the best possible traction down this very long straight. And stopping at the end of the sector 1 split there, it looks like Limitless is ever so slightly ahead of Martin there. Both drivers open up the DRS, flick it into 8th gear, and they're going to be looking to the left hand side to spot their braking point just after the 150 meter board there, down into 1st gear, clipping that apex, and again looking for a really good exit. Next corner is a pretty nothing corner, a high speed right hander, very simple, and looking at the right hand side again for the 100 meter board, both drivers going down into 2nd gear, clipping that inside curve for that left hander. This next right hander is pretty tricky in trying to balance the power on oversteer that you get and trying to maintain the speed, but stopping at the end of sector 2 there, Martin is comfortably ahead of Limitless. Now into sector 3, flicking it to the right hander there, trying not to run wide, and now into the long cambered left hander, both trying to flick it in as much as they can and carry as much speed as possible. Now into the penultimate corner, down into 3rd gear for Martin there, trying to get a bit more car rotation and power on oversteer round the final corner there, coming up to the line, and that's Martin ahead of Limitless by 0.2 there.
So let's have a look then at the starting grid for the German Grand Prix, and on pole position by only 100th of a second, very close between the top two. The Flying Finn in the Mercedes takes a pole once again, ahead of TRL Martin, who got so close this time around. And then on the second row, ESR Surprize and ESR Finch, two guys who have had yet another strong qualifying performance. On the third row we have AOR Reversal, who finished 2nd here in the race last season, and also TRL Limitless in the runner. And in 7th place, Burnout F1 with a strong qualifying performance, only 0.4 off the front, and then Stu in the Force India in 8th. Filling out the final top 10 positions, Jason97 F1 and RS Falcon, all of the top 10 starting on the super soft tires for the race, and Killer Wealth qualifying on the soft tires, getting 11th place, only 0.6 off pole, potentially one to look out for in the race. And Denny M7, his teammate as well, starting from 12th, gets free tire choice, and only 0.6 of a second separating the top 12 in qualifying. Starting towards the back, we have Franglish, ESR Ryan and SDS F1 Alonso, rounding out the slightly scarce 15 driver grid for today, with Kubica, 6 Kills, Lucky Dog, Williams, Hamilton and Strees all missing for various reasons. And then of course, unfortunately, confirmation after last week that ESR Lee has had to pull out of the league because of problems with his wheel. Big shame, of course. He was sitting 2nd place in the championship, Finn's closest challenger, but he will not be here for the final 6 rounds. So with that said, let's jump into the race to see all the action from the German Grand Prix.
Welcome to the very overcast grid here at Hockenheim, where we've got 15 of the fastest F1 2016 drivers in the world prepared to go head-to-head for the next 34 laps, and despite the ominous clouds in the sky, there is actually a 0% chance of rain, which means the strategy will be crucial, of course. Speaking of which, what types of strategies are we expecting today, Fizzy?
Well, if it remains a dry race, which the clouds maybe wouldn't suggest, but I guess the weatherman has decided that the clouds are going to disappear, then it is one of those tracks where a one-stopper, which on many tracks really is definitely the ideal one to run, but on this one it's going to be very, very tricky. So I think we're going to see a lot of two-stoppers actually. Definitely the guys starting on the super soft tires, all of the top 10 will have no chance of making this one-stop work with how quickly these tires wear off. And as well, the pit lane is relatively short around this track as well compared to many other circuits, so you know, you'll obviously still lose quite a bit by doing the extra stop, maybe not as much as, for example, the likes of tracks like Silverstone. But you never know. There's always, you know, the one-stop has a good potential to be fast if you have a really good tire wear. So maybe someone will pull it off, but I think the vast majority will do two-stop.
Yep, yeah, I think Killer Whale actually at 11th position, we were talking about this just before starting the recording here, is in a good position. We're actually on board with Danny, he was just behind him, but Killer Whale qualifying 6/10 off the pace on the soft tires, which we reckon would have put him somewhere in the top 6 or so if he had been on super softs, and he'll start with fresh rubber as well, so he is definitely one to watch. On board with ESR Surprize from 3rd position, he is sat directly behind the pole man as the lights go out, and it's a good start for the Sauber. A great start for the Red Bull of TRL Martin, who does move behind the Flying Finn, covers off any sort of shenanigans from ESR Surprise, and it looks pretty clean through turn 1. AOR Reversal, though, running wide, and he's going to lose some positions to Limitless and Burnout. Burnout F1 with some fantastic qualifying today in that Ferrari, and he's already gaining a position as well as Reversal goes a bit too heavy on that inside curb. Looks like the back end is just stepping out all over the shop on him. RS Falcon now coming under attack from Jason97 F1, or actually putting the moves on Jason97 F1, as TRL Martin now is going to have to go defensive around the outside, but it looks like the Flying Finn is going to kind of block him. ESR Surprise on his right-hand side is going to try and take that P2. He'll get the inside line now for turn 7, but that won't mean all that much. It is actually TRL Martin that's going to get the inside line for turn 8, and that is going to allow him to hold on to that second place position, or actually take that second place position even. STS F1 Alonso down in 13th position. Remember, only 15 runners in this race, so he is pretty far at the back, but he catches Franglish off guard a little bit coming out of turn number 10, and Killer Whale, who is way down at the back, is going to try and make a move on ESR Ryan. Yeah, the other Sauber not doing so well in the race so far, and man, the clouds really are ominous. Wow, very interesting move from Danny M7, and that's forced Falcon off the circuit, actually. I wonder if he's going to give that position back or if that's going to be a penalty or anything, but Falcon actually closing in with that slipstream. Jason97 F1 on the back of Stu. It said Reversal for a second there, but I knew he doesn't drive a Red Bull, so, or a Force India, excuse me, but ESR Finch now coming under attack from Limitless up into 4th position for JD, and here comes Burnout F1 as well. He's going to try and follow Limitless through. Contact between the Ferrari and the Williams. That's very close. JD trying to cover off the inside, but it looks like Finch doesn't want it. 3 wide into the turn 6 hairpin. Finch and Limitless make contact. Finch and the Ferrari make contact. Reversal is going to grab a position off of Burnout, and that is an incredible start to this race.
I have no idea how they didn't have more contact than they did through that, with 3 wide into the hairpin, and now Jason with a dive on Stu for P8 into the Mercedes corner. Stu does well to leave him only just the right amount of room, although he's got a bad run out of the next corner, and that will give Jason the inside line going into the stadium, and there we go, a nice and clean line, hitting the apex beautifully. So Jason up to P6, getting 1 position in this race so far. But yeah, Surprise keeping where he started. All the top 3 actually keeping where he started. Limitless having made up a couple of positions, where we saw earlier that Reversal having dropped down a couple. Reversal obviously, who had a fantastic race here last season, could have won the race if not for some bad luck. Finished 2nd. I know he was very motivated to get a good result here today, but yeah, the start of the race not quite gone his way.
Danny M7, though, is having a good run here on Stu on the run down towards turn 2. He's going to get the inside line. Oh, a little bit of freeze there. AOR Reversal onto the back of ESR Finch with the DRS now activated on lap 3. Oh, that's some very interesting movement from the Williams driver up ahead, and Reversal not quite able to get alongside as they got into the braking. RS Falcon, though, is going to come under attack from Franglish up the inside. The 2 teammates wheel banging a little bit. STS F1 Alonso takes advantage of Falcon, follows Franglish through, and so does Killer Whale. That's 3 positions lost from Falcon in the space of 1 corner. He's going to try to fight back, though, against the Haas up the inside of turn 8. Can he do it? No, it looks like Killer Whale has the better traction at the exit. He'll get the inside corner. They touch wheels a little bit there. Oh, yeah, and I knew that was going to happen as soon as the wheels touched. And RS Falcon drops down to the back. He will get clean air now. ESR Ryan is being told to give the position back to RS Falcon.
I would do it if I was him, because you get a 5-second stop go if you don't, and Falcon is less than 5 seconds behind. So yeah, I would have actually slowed down for Falcon there, because Ryan will now have to serve that 5 seconds on the pit stop.
Oh yeah, and that is definitely going to hurt him. ESR Finch, meanwhile, is trying to keep up with TRL Limitless. Finch, of course, started in 4th position, the 4th position that JD is now currently occupying, and he's closing up on him. Already pretty significant tire wear we're seeing after just 3 laps. Of course, these guys all started on the compounds that they qualified on, and Finch, with that DRS, is going to get a great run on Limitless, and Limitless really not defending all that much either. SDS F1 Alonso with the DRS, but Killer Whale with the slipstream and the DRS is going to pressure both of them into the turn 6 hairpin, always a popular overtaking location, but he just didn't have the line to get through that hairpin, and the McLaren able to stay ahead on that occasion. Jason 97 F1 again with a podium last time out in Hungary, a fantastic race for the Renault driver. He's clinging to the back of Danny M7, and these corners are very difficult to follow through there. You can see the Renault just dropping back ever so slightly. Such a dirty air effect as well into turn 11, the Mobile 1 curve as well. ESR Ryan closes pretty significantly on Stu, actually. He's going to pressurize him into the cambered left-hander, side by side, a little bit of wheel banging between the two of them, and he's actually just narrowly ahead as Tyrrell Martin has already had enough of these Supersofts. Fizzy. He's coming into the pits, and we'll see what he goes on to here. It looks like it's going to be a set of the mediums.
Yeah, interesting. The hardest compound of tires available today, of course. So a very early pit stop for Martin. That just shows, like I mentioned earlier, how bad the Supersofts is. And actually, you can still see the back of the field, despite pitting on the lap 4 from basically the front of the field. So Martin can see the guys at the back at the moment. So shows a good pace the front runners have been running so far in the race. But now looking at Killer Whale, trying to make up for whatever happened to him at the start of the race to drop back to last. But he's going to go into the top 10 potentially. Jason breaking on the outside of Danny into the hairpin. Danny forced to leave him room in the exit. Can Jason find the grip he needs on those super soft tires? Danny, of course, on the softs, having gained positions from starting outside the top 10. Oh, and that's a big close through there. Got to avoid understeering on the inside. And actually, Danny holds on. Wow, with a good run. Damn, really good defensing. Is driving from the Haas driver, and Jason has to be a bit more patient, I guess, to make that move.
Yeah, and up at the front, ESR Surprize is having a hard time keeping up with the Flying Finn, as you would expect pretty much anybody in this league to do. I mean, he is the Flying Finn, no doubt about that, and already 62% on the rear left, 64% for ESR Finch, who decides he has had enough of the Supersofts as well, comes in at the end of lap 5 to replace that very worn set of tires. It looks like AOR Reversal following him in as well. Again, Reversal with a bit of a return to form, at least in qualifying. Not the best of stops for Finch. Reversal with a 1.7 second stop. He's going to gain marginally as a result of those stops. A 2.9 second stop for Jason. Burnout F1 is actually replacing a front wing, and that is really going to slow him down, 9.6 seconds. And Falcon with a decent pit stop in the Manor is going to rejoin the circuit in P13. With Burnout F1 behind. That is unfortunate. But go ahead and talk us through this replay of the start, Fizzy.
Yeah, you can see the start from Martin's POV, and not really able to challenge Finn on the very short run, of course, down into the turn 1 here, high-speed corner as well, so no late braking opportunities. Oh, and that was a reversal. Kind of forced wide a little bit by Finch, although I don't think that was too dirty, but that's how Reversal dropped down a little bit from where he started, and then down into the hairpin. Got Jason with Falcon on his inside, I believe, holding it lovely around the outside to keep hold of 9th there. So, yeah, there were obviously a few moments of contact in the first few laps as well, but nothing too major. And
not like Hungary.
Yeah, exactly. Nothing like Hungary, which is good to see. All nice and clean, apart from that little slide that Falcon had that lost him some time. But yeah, very nice clean start of the race as Finn and Surprise and Limitless all into the pits.
Oh, and Finn might get held up by Limitless there. I think actually Surprise was close enough that he wouldn't have affected his pit stop, but I think Limitless possibly may have slowed down the Flying Finn. Yeah, 3.4 second stop for the Flying Finn. Where is he going to feed out as well? It is behind TRL Martin. So clearly the undercut, where with Martin coming in at the end of lap 4, has worked an absolute treat for him. AOR Reversal now down to P10 after making his stop. And has fed out just ahead of Limitless, actually. You can see the proximity arrow there. Surprise now coming under attack from Finch. Finch, one of those guys that pitted on lap 5, so he's already had a little bit of time to warm up those mediums, and he does lock them up into that turn 6 hairpin pretty significantly, but still manages to make the overtake on Surprize, who I think was a bit surprised to see the Williams grabbing that position. RS Falcon down in unlucky 13th with a pretty decent-sized gap to Burnout up ahead, or behind, and an even bigger gap to Jason 97 F1 up ahead. So it's looking like a bit of an unfortunate race for the Manor driver. AOR Reversal, though, not far off of Surprize here. Oh! And he just loses the back end ever so slightly, nearly makes contact.
Both of the advertising boards.
Yeah, he really doesn't like that advertising. Oh, and ESR Surprize as well with a big mistake through the penultimate corner coming into turn 15, runs a bit wide, and TRL Limitless right now must be thinking he just cannot believe his luck as he gets a free position and might get another free position here as TRL Martin now onto the back of ESR Ryan. And again, the other Sauber driver of ESR Ryan having a bit of a worse day. He has not come into the pits yet on that set of soft compound tires. STS F1 Alonso and Killer Whale are going to duel into the turn 6 hairpin, and it looks like the McLaren has the measure of the Haas, although Killer Whale with a better exit is going to try and grab the inside line for turn 7. I don't know how much that's going to do for him. Meanwhile, the Flying Finn has a decent-sized gap to Finch behind. Here's a replay of Alonso and Falcon, I believe, heading into turn 8, and that was when Falcon, oh, a bit of contact there, turned in and loses a position. Yeah, so not one manner, but two manners actually make their way through.
Good teamwork.
Yeah, that's exactly how you want to do that. And then it looked like he might even lose another position to the Haas that was behind him. Oh, burnout!
No.
Oh, no! And that's got to be some sort of illegal pit entry from AOR Reversal. Jason 97 F1 is going to grab a free position off of that. Here's a replay of that incident between Reversal. Yeah, and he just decides.
What on earth is he doing there?
Yeah, not a good decision there. And I can see his tires are definitely destroyed, but unfortunately he was committed at that point and should have stayed with that commitment. So I think that was a pretty clear-cut case on that one.
I wonder if he had actually planned to pit on that lap, but he forgot about it around the final sector. Because I've done that a few times in the past.
Yep.
And then he just remembered last minute. But yeah, that was definitely not quite how we wanted that to go. And we're still having battles between the soft starters for the lead of this race.
Yeah, STS F1 Alonso and Danny M7 with the exact same move that they had before. Danny picking up a hell of a slipstream considering he's just a few millimeters away from the gearbox of that McLaren. So that you can imagine the slipstream effect was pretty effective there. Killer Whale as well, just behind. So I think that's actually both Haas cars really battling it out for not the actual lead of this race, not the effective lead of this race.
Let them have it. It's the lead of the race.
You would have to say that Martin, barring any sort of strategy stuff later on, is in the pouncy right now with him being obviously ahead. Alonso does come into the pits. Danny M7 comes into the pits as well. It looks like the soft runner is now starting to cry enough, as that is a very, very cautious pit lane entry for Alonso, which really slowed up Danny. I think Danny was expecting to get on the brakes quite a bit later there by comparison to the McLaren, and these guys right down at the end of the pit lane, so we'll see if there's any, a bit of a hold up there for the Haas. It's going to lose him some time to Alonso as they feed out into 11th and 12th respectively, and the Flying Finn appears to be a bit stuck behind ESR Ryan, but with this very long straight and with that slipstream and the DRS and the inside line for turn 6, I don't imagine this will be too much of a problem. He's well ahead even into the braking zone at turn 6 and does move ahead up to 4th, but he does have some traffic up ahead, Fizzy, and those guys are battling for position right now, of course.
They are indeed. And speaking of battling for position, Martin has caught up to the back of Killer Whale for the current lead of this race. Of course, Killer Whale still hasn't pitted, but this should surely be an easy move for Martin with that lovely DRS run. Killer Whale is going to go defensive though, but the run into the hairpin for Martin was just too much, and he's going to get that position. And Flying Finn going straight up the inside of Franglish as well, so getting rid of that traffic immediately, good to go up to 3rd place. And then another move, three moves already down here very similar, and it's a bit late on the brakes for Finn. Ryan's going to be able to get back underneath him as a result of it potentially, but no, it doesn't look like Ryan has the grip in those tires anymore. Yet to pit him as well. He's trying to hang on, but I think Finn just managed to swoop around the outside of the right-hand kink there, and this looks like a potential dive bomb from Falcon there. Slight lock up on the inside front, and Danny again doing a really good job of only leaving just enough room on the inside. Oh my word, wiggling all over the place, coming out of that corner. It does give him the inside line though, because he wiggled to the right, so that's good for him. So he's going to hold on to that one, and that was indeed Killer Whale into the pits from P2.
Yep, a late stop for him, of course, at the end of lap 11, on board with the Renault of Jason97 F1 as he begins lap 12 now. And he's got a decent-sized gap up to a reversal ahead. He's not going to be picking up the DRS here unless he gains massively into turn 2. Oh, and that's very wide for AOR Falcon. Yep, thankfully he did not take out any boards, no damage or anything like that. Does close up pretty significantly onto the back of Danny M7 into turn 2, but that Haas with fantastic grip with those medium compound tires fitted to the car right now. Burnout F1... It's been a difficult day for him. Started 7th, currently battling for P13. Not been a great one for him, but he is going to make quick work of Killer Whale with good use of that DRS. This possibly being one of those circuits where the DRS activation is possibly a bit too early. I remember that being a problem with India way back when, and this might be a similar sort of issue, because it does seem people are overtaking relatively easily. Wow, Killer Whale with the incredibly braking. That was fantastic. A for effort, my son, but no, that's not going to work out. He does drop down to P14. On board with ESR Finch, as he is currently holding on to P3. Looked like somebody into the pits behind him. Not sure who that was, but he is going to continue on for lap 13. We're already a third of the way through this race, and yeah, the top 3 are really spaced out, actually. I don't think we've seen anything like this for quite a number of races. Yeah, it's a 3-second gap up to the Flying Finn, and I would say probably another 3-second gap or so between Martin and the Flying Finn. There's a decent battle for 3rd going on. There's a fantastic battle for 13th going on as the Killer Whale fights back at Burnout F1 up the inside. Ferrari customer car versus Ferrari manufacturer car, and Killer Whale comes out on top, picks up the DRS as well. That's going to be helpful in his quest to defend that position from Burnout F1. Burnout is going to pick up a bit of a slipstream off of Franglish here, but he's going to have to go around the outside of the Haas at turn 6 here, which has worked out fairly well for him. He's gotten good traction. He's not going to get the inside line for this right-hand kink, but he will get the inside line for turn 8, assuming we don't see a dive bomb. And there it is. There is the dive bomb, actually, from the Killer Whale. And it wasn't quite enough, though. Burnout's going to hold on to that. You do get a compromised line, though, battling into turn 8. That really compromises your run, and Killer Whale takes advantage of that and actually makes the move into the Mobile 1 curve through the cambered left-hander. I love that cambered left-hander. It is one of my favorite corners in all of F1, I have to say. Skipping ahead now to lap 15, Jason97 F1 onto the back of ESR Ryan, whose race has actually really improved. He was pretty far down at the back. Now he's not that far off of his teammate.
I don't think he's pitted still. He's the only man who hasn't pitted. No, I don't think so.
That's incredible. Well, hats off to him just for sticking it out this long. That is, yeah, Ryan has not pitted yet. Pretty incredible stuff. RS Falcon is rapidly approaching 60% tire life on his rears. Definitely seeming like a rear-limited circuit, particularly the rear left really getting punished, possibly as a result of like the low-speed hairpin, just putting all that power through the rear tires. Back up at the front, and actually it's kind of more of the same. Finch with still a pretty decent sized gap. Now it's over 3 seconds, or no, yeah, it's over 3 seconds to the Flying Finn, 2.5 seconds between Finn and Martin. But again, that battle for P4 still going on. So, oh, a bit of a wiggle. More wiggling. We're seeing quite a bit of wiggling actually in today's race. This is a wiggleful race, if that's a word, as the Sauber of ESR Ryan finally comes into the pits.
And he has to serve that Scott, of course, that he picked up right at the start of the race, so that's annoying for him. Nothing really could have done about that, apart from obviously letting Falcon through, but I think he kind of got it a bit unfairly, so that's quite annoying for him. He's going to be at the back of the field, but surely, when he's dragging the soft tires out this long into the race, he must think about a one-stop here, even though I thought it was going to be tricky, and he's going to have to do a lot of laps on those mediums, but surely there's no other reason for him to stay out that long.
Well, he did 15 laps on a set of softs, which means he's got to do 19 laps on a set of mediums, and he's going to have lower fuel as well. Yeah. So, yeah, you have to imagine that that's going to work out fairly well for him. And the Flying Finn, this is kind of what we expected with Martin pitting earlier in the race by comparison. Seems his mediums have started to drop off. He is currently leading, but the Flying Finn has visibly started to close him down as we're now past the halfway point of this German Grand Prix, closing out lap 18 now, starting lap 19, and it's just a 1.4 second gap, while the gap between second and third is now nearly 5 seconds. So the Flying Finn is, who is of course our, and that's a 3-second time penalty for ESR Finch. I don't know if he's 3 seconds ahead of ESR Surprize. Jason97 F1 into the pits for a stop and a set of the medium compound tires at the end of lap 18, I believe that was. Yeah, that was lap 18. He's already passed the start-finish line. Danny M7 into the pits for another set of mediums. Swaps a set of mediums for another set of mediums. But, yeah, Fizzy, the Flying Finn is really showing why he is the reigning champion right now. He's extending the gap behind.
And what's that?
Okay.
Franglish is out. Okay, losing it out of turn 3 there. That is unfortunate for the manor.
Huh.
Yeah. Not sure what else to say about that. Just was in the wall suddenly.
Yeah, that was a strange one. Yeah, I was going to say the Flying Finn showing us why he's the reigning champion, but yeah, that was a really weird one for Falcon. On board with TRL Martin, end of lap 19, it looks like he is going to come into the pits, and unlike his teammate, he's going to take the correct line into there, and he is not going to get it all slowed down. No, Martin, no. Oh, no. I was really looking forward to the battle for the lead. Oh, that is absolutely gutting. Yeah, I don't know what else to say about that. That's really unfortunate for the Red Bull driver. I think he was at 51 miles per hour when he was getting it all slowed down. Just barely an infraction there, or infringement. But SDS F1 Alonso is going to fit a set of medium compound tires at the end of lap 19, presumably his final stop of the race, or at least his final planned stop of the race, while ESR Finch actually, I think, has reversal on his left-hand side. We haven't actually gotten view of the car that's there. We've briefly seen a proximity arrow indicating that there is somebody on his left-hand side.
There is a car there.
Yep. And there he is. Oh, yeah, we saw him for just a moment. I wasn't sure exactly what was going on. And ESR Finch off the racing line, getting some wheel spin. That's going to allow Reversal to actually narrowly pull ahead. He's going to get the inside line for turn 8 as well. Finch later on the...
Oh my god.
That was an interesting one. It felt like Finch turned in a little early on that one for my liking. I would have to see a replay of that. I don't know if they just got caught on each other, which we certainly know is something that can absolutely happen. Jason97 F1 being told that Limitless is actually into the pits, and here is TRL Martin going into the pits as well to serve his drive-through penalty.
Oh, that's painful. That's painful.
Yeah, it's probably a good thing that he can't do any hand motions with the driver right now, because I imagine we'd be seeing some colorful hand motions from the Red Bull driver at the moment. Burnout F1 does manage to get the car all slowed down and into the pits for the Ferrari team, and he's going to fit a set of the softs, while Killer Whale actually is going for a set of the mediums at the end of lap 20, so he'll have 14 laps, just 14 laps on the set of mediums, which means he could really punish them if he wants to, though.
Yeah, definitely. Don't have to worry about tire wear on that one. So full power for Killer Whale till the end of the race. Well, maybe not, because he's not got too much extra fuel at the moment, actually, I noticed. But yeah, he'll definitely be pushing hard to try and make up some positions. Further up at the field, we got Surprize now in second place, 7 seconds behind Finn. Both of those, of course, still need to do the final stop of the race. Surprize, yeah, of course, going a bit downhill from where he started with that slide we saw him having the final sector, and here's Flying Finn still going, actually. So yeah, he's definitely planning for a soft stint at the end of the race. I would think even Surprise, coming in with 13 laps to go, will be going onto the soft tires. Then we have Falcon, who is trying to make his way back into the points. Not too far behind Ryan, only just over a second. Wants to... Oh, never mind.
Oh.
Might have to add 3 seconds to that. So, well, unless Ryan also has a penalty, that's going to be more tricky for Falcon. Of course, he now has to pass Ryan and also pull a gap, as Alonso sets a new fastest lap on fresh medium tires, I believe. Hit it a couple of laps ago.
Yep.
So, Interesting. Oh, there we go. Ryan's gonna make it even with Falcon on the penalty point count. Or at least we think so.
Yeah, and here comes TRL Martin now on ESR Finch. Incredibly, he is now going to work himself back into the top 5. Is he going to make a move on reversal? Incredible stuff from TRL Martin after getting a drive-through penalty. He may still be in the battle for second position.
Yeah, look at that train. Just like last week, massive battle for second all of a sudden.
Yeah, and I think that's why the Flying Phoenix, I think he was meant to come in at the end of lap 21. But I think because of that mistake from TRL Martin, he may have given himself a little bit of an extra buffer. Yeah, you can see he's very, very careful coming into the pits, 35 miles per hour even as he crosses the line. So really just taking it easy, making sure not to take any unnecessary risks or anything like that. AOR Reversal once again running off of the circuit.
How on earth is that the penalty?
Another 3. Yeah, well, that one's definitely unfair because, yeah, Reversal didn't gain anything as a result of that one. But the Flying Finn is going to feed out of the pits on a fresh set of soft tires and with an absolutely commanding lead over ESR Surprize as he's got Limitless all over the back of him. TRL Martin is onto the back of his teammate AOR Reversal. And I imagine Reversal isn't going to be too much of a isn't going to put up too much of a fight here on the rundown towards turn 6. I fully expect him to just brake nice and easy behind his teammate, but we'll see exactly how that works out. Yep, looks like that's exactly how that's going to play out. Jason 97 F1 versus STS F1 Alonso at turn 6. All of the action is at turn 6, or at least the vast majority of it. No surprise there. Still on his right-hand side as they're going to go side by side through turn 7. Jason with the inside line, though. Ooh, wow. STS F1 Alonso really not giving him much room there. Jason might get a bit of a cutback run here, and is Alonso going to defend the inside line? No, the Renault thinks better of it, decides not to try and make that attempt. Oh, a little wide there for Alonso. That's going to be a scary moment for him. ESR Finch now running behind AOR Reversal. Finch, of course, qualified in 4th, dropped back to 6th pretty quickly and has kind of stayed there for the majority of the race. He's still stuck back there. He does have a little bit of snow. He does not have any spare fuel, actually.
Snow? Snow!
Snowdor? Is it Snowdor?
Snow, yeah.
Jason 97 F1 versus STS F1 Alonso once again into turn 2. Gets it all slowed down. Picking up a bit of grouse is the McLaren there. And Jason here is going to pick up the DRS, though. Looks like a bit of a wiggle for Alonso. Oh, closing massively with the rich fuel as well. Now he does have fuel to spare. Finch versus Reversal. Yep, that didn't work out so well. Again, it seems to me, Fizzy, that it's almost the better line to take the outside line at that turn 6 hairpin. Yeah. It seemed more successful so far in this race to have the outside line versus the inside line, as Killer Whale proves my point.
Yeah, unless you can be far enough like ahead through the corner, get far enough ahead through the corner to be able to squeeze the guy on the outside out and force him to back out of it. If you're actually remaining side by side there, the guy on the outside is always going to get a better run on the exit. So yeah, definitely we've seen that a lot this race, that the guy on the outside just making the move back, and what a lap that is from the Flying Finn. 115.5, just to rub it in that he is up there and he's there to stay, as Reversal's playing with his pause menu, playing with turn 1 a bit as well, as he has to worry still about Finch right there behind him, dropping a little bit away from the 2 TRL boys at the moment. Martin trying to chase down Limitless there for the final podium position at the moment. Surprisingly well to hold on in 2nd as well, it has to be said, at this stage of the race. And Justin, is this a potential other side-by-side moment into the happen?
Yep, once again, and Alonso getting very defensive. Jason, with that DRS, does pull alongside and get ahead as well. Pinches him onto the apex. Fantastic move from Jason, leaving just enough room for his competitor. Finch still trying to find a way past Reversal. Is he going to make the dive bomb up the inside at turn 8? He sure is. Takes a whole lot of curb and picks up a 3-second time penalty. Contact between the Red Bull and the Williams, and he goes spinning off into the barrier. He's going to lose a big chunk of his front wing. AOR Reversal is going to continue on with minor damage, possibly no damage actually, for the Red Bull driver, and his kind of body language there after the incident kind of indicated to me that Reversal maybe was feeling a bit guilty about that one. I would need to see a replay in order to judge exactly what happened there. It all happened a bit too fast for my old eyes, but yeah, that is really unfortunate. Finch retires out of the session from 6th position. Back on board with the other Red Bull of TRL Martin, who is going to go into battle with TRL Limitless here. Of course, Limitless, the Renault driver, is going to pick up DRS off of the car ahead, which is ESR Surprize, still holding on to that P2. TRL Martin, with a much better run, though, out of turns 3 and 4, is going to pull alongside and make quick work of TRL Limitless. At least it looks that way. Yep, it looks like Limitless might try a cut back here, but again, you want to be on the left side, really, coming out of that corner to get the inside line for turn 8. Killer Whale running just behind his teammate, actually, the two Haas's into the points, 8th and 9th currently for them at the moment, but Danny M7 having a slightly better race, which is unfortunate because we had obviously singled out Killer Whale as one to watch in this race, being 6/10 off pole on the soft compound tires and starting on those fresh tires as well. We really thought he might even be a competitor for the lead of the race, potentially. Jason97 F1, though, having a fantastic race. Started from 9th up into 5th position, not far off his teammate, in fact, just behind his teammate, but with a decent-sized gap up ahead. Back on board with Killer Whale through my favorite cambered left-handed corner, and just a fantastic section of the circuit, and really enjoy the final double right-handers as well to round out the lap. And Alonso has actually found somebody new to do battle with. He is caught up to the back of Jason, and he's actually going to be piling on the pressure onto the Renault driver. DRS activation now. Wing opens up for the McLaren driver. Is Jason going to defend the inside line? No, he's not. I think he has learned that he wants to be on the outside, actually, for this hairpin. Martin and Limitless going side by side through the hairpin, and it looks like Martin is going to get the better of Limitless and can now turn his focus towards ESR Surprize, who has actually built a little bit of a gap thanks to the battling between the Red Bull and the Renault. Jason, meanwhile, is going to try and grab that position back off of Alonso. He was just behind his teammate in 5th with Limitless in 4th, but he's now lost that 5th place position to Alonso. Of course, this is coming hot off the heels of a podium finish for Jason in Hungary, a fantastic race for him where he finished just behind 2nd position as well. Really, really strong race for him. On board with the McLaren driver, and you can see just how close Jason is, actually. That proximity arrow just will not go away. That's got to be mentally distracting for Alonso as he makes his way through the final couple of corners, and not many laps remaining here, Fizzy. And I can't really predict anything except for the fact that the Flying Finn is probably going to win this.
Yeah, I think that's the only thing that's set in stone at the moment, unless we have a disconnection or some kind of thunderbolt striking his car or something. But yeah, it's battling between two guys who have had a very strong race. Jason, of course, gaining 3 positions from where he started. Alonso gaining, make that 9 instead of 10, because Jason flies through and gets his full car ahead. Don't have to worry about being side by side through the hairpin on that occasion, and potentially another easy move with the DRS once again. Ryan trying to fight for that final points position at the moment against Falcon. We've seen both of them get a 3-second penalty. We don't know if any of them have any more than that, but at the moment we can just look at what we see, and that is a very close battle for 10th place in this race. As we're now going to have a replay, actually. Oh yeah, this is going to be Finch and Reversal going side by side into turn 8, and this is way ages ago, actually, when Finch was squeezing Reversal a bit down onto that apex area. And I think you were right when you said that it did look like Finch was just kind of turning it a bit early and didn't take too much care as to where Reversal was. This is the roles reversed, and Reversal did leave space in that corner, but then he comes over towards the left on the exit, which just pinches Finch straight off the track, and that is also going to be under investigation. And here we can see it from Reversal's view, and yeah, I think he just loses it there, maybe slightly on the rail. It looked a bit weirder from his view, but yeah, he definitely comes over to the left, and Finch doesn't really have anywhere to go.
Yeah, unfortunate for Reversal. This has been this was one of his better qualifyings as Falcon goes up the inside, going to try and take that final points-paying position off of ESR Ryan, but once again, the outside line seemingly better, just purely because you get a better run out of the corner. So if you're going to be side-by-side with them, and it looks like Stu lost connection at some point, but thankfully he is ghosted. So, but ESR Surprize possibly distracted by the lapped ghost car It goes extremely wide at turn 6. That's going to give TRL Martin a heck of a run on him. They're going to be side by side into turn 8. Martin's going to have to do it around the outside here, but that'll give him the inside line for turn 9 here, or turn 10, I should say, excuse me. And he does get that inside line. Surprised with the better exit out of the corner, I think, potentially, though. Some more ghosting going on. This time not involving a lapped car, though, as Ryan and Falcon, I guess, got a little too close for the game, and it just kind of feared for both of their lives. Danny M7 has dropped right off the back.
No, he's got a puncture!
Yep, he definitely does have a puncture, and that is on lap 32, which is very unfortunate for the Haas driver. That is definitely going to lose him those points that he had earned. ESR Ryan is going to pick up an extra point as a result of that, and actually RS Falcon will as well. AOR Reversal making his way out of the final corner and on lap 31 and starting lap 32 from 7th position, and with a big old gap up ahead of him as well. On board with Burnout F1, who is heading into the pits.
Interesting.
That's an interesting strategy call. I assume that he is also right on the edge of his tires popping. Either that or he just doesn't care anymore because he's already outside the points. Yeah, very likely, very likely. Jason 97 F1 and STS F1 Alonso going into battle once again. Jason getting the better of the McLaren driver, this time with the inside line. So actually Jason has both proven my point and disproven my point about turn 6 at multiple times during this race, but it's been a solid race for Jason, and again, after coming off that podium, Killer Whale catches up to Danny M7, makes quick work of him, laid onto the brakes, and that's a weird one for the two Haas drivers. That's yeah, I'm not entirely sure what happened there. This is what it looked like from Danny's point of view. He gets nice and early on the brakes, and I think he wanted his teammate to go ahead. Okay, yep, that's just some, I think, some finger troubles on that one. The best way I would describe that. RS Falcon on the penultimate lap. Gets very close to the back end of that Sauber. 71% as well on the front left, 39% on the front right. I really bet he wishes he could swap those tires right now. And the incident between Reversal and Burnout, Reversal receives a race ban for causing multiple collisions. That is unfortunate for the Red Bull driver, but yeah, it's been a tough day for him, and thankfully, mercifully for him, it is almost over though, and then he could turn his focus towards round 12 now. Yep. Jason 97 F1 though coming under attack from Alonso once again, and it's the last lap of the race here, Fizzy, so this is now where the battle matters the most.
It is indeed, and these guys have been going back and forth for a long time. One lap more to do it, and advantage Alonso, I would say, considering he was behind going under the DRS rate. That means he's going to be ahead going into the hairpin. Has to defend though a little bit, slightly late on the brakes there, but I think he will remain ahead for now. Reversal running with quite high tyre wear as well down into the hairpin, looking quite set for P7 there though. I was going to say, unless he has a puncture, and then he has a freaking puncture on the front left. And he's just given up on that one. Reversal has had very much a day to forget. With a race ban looming, he's had several incidents at the track, which he was looking so good at on pace last season. But this is the man who was looking good on pace this season, the Flying Finn, to take the win of the German Grand Prix.
Yeah, very well deserved. Fantastic run. Great run for TRL Martin as well, aside from his pit lane entrance. I mean, he had a flawless race aside from that pit lane entrance, so kudos to him. Alonso is going to come out on top in that battle against Jason. RS Falcon is definitely going to pop his tire at the final corner. Come on. Oh, man, I was really hoping he would.
And he's so happy it didn't.
and Burnout F1 actually is going to claim the final point in what was one of the craziest finishes. I can't even believe that. He stopped on lap 31, 32? I don't even remember.
12.
That's incredible. Kudos to Burnout F1 for picking up the final championship points. Here's the final lap. We actually missed this because of everything else that was going on. Surely Alonso saw this coming. He knew that Jason was going to be trying absolutely anything and everything on this final lap. He closes in even as they reach the apex of the Mobile 1 curve. but it is a dominant victory for the Flying Finn. He finishes 4.4 seconds ahead of TRL Martin, and without a 3-second time penalty, which increases it to 7.4 seconds. TRL Limitless also picking up a 3-second time penalty, and ESR Surprize with actually 6 seconds worth of penalties, but it didn't make a difference. He's going to finish in 4th regardless. Jason97 F1 again picking up double-digit points. A fantastic day for Renault, in fact, with 25 points, matching the Mercedes, actually, so good job to them. Alonso grabs that 6th place position, with 3 seconds worth of penalties. That's what did it for Alonso. Unfortunate for him, but Killer Whale actually with 7th. Solid drive for him, all things considered, followed by the other Sauber of ESR Ryan. Double points today for the Sauber team. Good job for them. And then Falcon and Burnout F1, unbelievably completing the points-paying finishes. And yeah, speaking of days to forget, well, Stu decided to fit every single type of tire. He just had to try everything. Reversal, again, with a day to forget, absolutely. Still no doubt about Reversal's skills, but certainly I hope he comes back rested and refreshed. ESR Finch as well, difficult day for him. I can imagine he is a little bit frustrated, and Franglish as well. And in the championship, Limitless does move back ahead of his teammate, and actually jumps ahead of Strees as well in the championship, so he's now 3rd in the championship. I swear we've had several different drivers in 3rd at this point in the championship, but
obviously everyone jumping up one because of leaving as well. But yeah, so what was battle for 4th is now the battle for 3rd.
Gotcha. Yeah, so very, very close actually between 3rd down to 7th, really, with RS Falcon losing a position, Alonso moving up ahead of the Manor driver, and Finch dropping down behind Surprize. I'm glad to see that we're finally seeing some solid results for Surprize, because obviously we saw some fantastic stuff from him as far as the pace is concerned, like the qualifying pace, but it's good to see him converting that into an actual good result in the race, and actually being a bit of a threat. He wasn't really a threat to the Flying Finn in today's race, but man, the Constructors' Championship has got to be just about wrapped up with a 212-point gap. 5 races remaining, 43 points for the max.
That's gonna be close.
Yeah, actually, Mercedes can wrap it up at the next race, I believe.
I would think so, actually, yeah.
Yeah, I believe Mercedes can wrap up the Constructors' Championship incredibly at the next race. Red Bull and Renault separated by just 30 points, 37 points between Renault and Mercedes, and McLaren Honda just behind them as well. And the next race is going to be Spa. It's going to be a high-speed, fantastic circuit. Love this circuit. And maybe a chance of rain, question mark? We haven't seen loads of rain, but certainly would be nice to see a little precipitation in Belgium. So we will be looking forward to that. Thank you so much for joining me, of course, Fizzy.
Yes, no worries, Justin. Always a pleasure, and looking forward to Spa.
Yep, I think we're all looking forward to Spa. So for Fizzy, for Chris, for Ali, who wasn't here but who will be back in the future, I hope he enjoys his vacation, and for myself, Justin, thanks everybody for watching. We will see you next time for the Belgian Grand Prix. Goodbye.